Heavy rain pounded against the windshield at Atlanta International Airport. The sound seeped into the bones, each drop shattering on the glass like a racing heartbeat. Dr. Marcus Ellis stepped out of the sleek black SUV shoulders, straight eyes glinting with determination. His charcoal trench coat was soaked through hair, neatly trimmed a few strands, disheveled by the rain. 1 step. 2 steps. Each footfall echoed silently amid the blaring horns, tires slapping the pavement, and the crackling announcements over the airport speakers. The camera lowered, tracking Marcus's steps, zooming into his eyes. The dim airport lights slanted across, highlighting the labored breathing of hurried passengers. Everyone moved quickly, but as Marcus appeared, time seemed to stretch. A middle-aged white man glanced covertly, raising an eyebrow, unaware of who Marcus would be in the next few seconds. Marcus did not speak, did not smile, and did not need to. Hands deep in his coat pockets, his eyes scanned passengers' crew announcements. Every detail was absorbed into his memory. Every beat, every glance, every reaction. They looked at him, but they had not seen him. They did not yet realize that the person they underestimated held far more power than they imagined. Inside the security checkpoint, the beeping of scanners' shoes hitting the floor, loud announcements. Marcus stood still. TSA agents glanced past him, as if through a ghost, but then their eyes lingered, brows knitting. Each second stretched. Marcus inhaled deeply, palms cold. He placed his laptop on the conveyor belt. An agent looked, glanced away, then focused on other passengers. Marcus's gaze followed silently, as if reading the room's every thought. Suddenly, a sharp whistle echoed from afar. A flight crew appeared, uniforms, crisp steps precise. A flight attendant, Jessica Miller, stood rigid, face composed, eyes scanning passengers, stopping briefly on Marcus. A moment. Marcus met her gaze. Suspicion flickered in her eyes. Then she moved on. They did not yet know who he was. They had not realized that the person they were dismissing was the CEO of a billion-dollar company. Marcus approached the check-in counter. The camera zoomed close on his hand as he retrieved the electronic ticket. He handed it to Jessica, voice calm yet certain, Seat 1 Alpha. Jessica glanced, brow furrowed. Marcus was a Diamond customer, his benefits verified, yet the scanner flagged an error. Jessica frowned, typed on the keyboard, eyes scanning the screen. Marcus remained silent, breathing steady heart normal, yet the tension in the air radiated outward. William Harper entered middle-aged white, wearing a worn but expensive suit, walking directly to the counter. His eyes fixed on Marcus. Marcus's expression didn't change. William's voice, low but clear, said, "Excuse me, that's my usual seat." Jessica turned to Marcus, forcing a polite smile, her eyes commanding. Marcus lifted the ticket, smiled lightly, composed, Seat 1 Alpha. My assignment. Camera zoomed on William's face, flushed with anger. He did not understand. No one did why a black man, soaked ordinary in appearance, would claim the seat. Marcus stared at William, eyes cold yet filled with quiet authority, showing he was no timid man wielding unseen power. Jessica spoke softly to William. "Sir, perhaps you could sit elsewhere." Gentle in tone, yet commanding. William flushed, voice firm. "I always sit here." Marcus shrugged slightly, responding simply, "I'm staying." The crew stiffened. Passengers turned, phones emerged, recording. Inside Marcus' calm was armor. He remembered his father, the injustices endured, the imposed humiliations, yet he kept dignity. He inhaled slowly, slowed his rhythm, sensing every gaze, every gesture. They were judging him, yet had not perceived the full strength he possessed. William muttered tensely, "You can't be serious." Marcus remained silent, standing firm, gaze unwavering. Jessica inhaled, pressed the call button for the captain. 2 steps, 3 steps. The captain arrived, tall, confident eyes assessing. Marcus stayed calm. Inside, his heart pounded, yet outwardly he was the image of absolute composure. The captain leaned forward. "Sir, this is your final opportunity." Voice, serious. Marcus inhaled, replying lightly but firmly, "I'm in my seat. No one else is required to move. Unless safety demands, I'm not going anywhere." A tense silence followed, suffocating. The camera focused on passengers, phones still recording. 1 second, 2 seconds. No one dared exhale audibly. Marcus stood, latent power radiating. They thought he was just another black passenger. They were mistaken. In his hands were authority, legal knowledge, industry influence, a plot twist unnoticed by anyone. Suddenly, a crew member approached, reminding the captain. Marcus raised his hand, maintaining perfect composure. He opened his phone, sent a message to his lawyer. No clumsy movements, no anger. Only resolve, eyes cold, seeing all. A slight push, a startled passenger. William recoiled. Phones flashed. Marcus remained silent. He knew everything was being recorded. Every glance, every gesture, every action captured. The truth could no longer be hidden. The underestimated had become the center of power without anyone realizing it. The camera pulled back from Marcus, revealing the entire cabin. Seat 1, Alpha, gleamed under the lights. Marcus sat upright, breathing slow, gaze steady. A passenger whispered, "Who is he?" Marcus said nothing, yet his eyes said everything. "I am in control. No one can dethrone me." Outside the cabin, phones recorded. Social media began to explode. Hashtag Seat 1 Alpha. Marcus remained silent. Inside, he knew this seat was not just a seat. It was the start of a battle for justice. A discriminatory system was being challenged. And he, the most underestimated, would change everything. The camera panned over faces, crew, passengers, Captain William. All looked at Marcus, none knowing whom they faced. He was calm, heart steady, mind sharp. A perfect plot twist true. Power does not reside in uniform or appearance, but in those who stand firm when underestimated. The pace accelerated. Quick shots. Marcus opened his wallet. Laptop, prepared documents, strategized. William panicked. Crew flustered. Everything unfolded in seconds, yet tension stretched as if slowly, moment by moment. Everyone knew whoever kept calm won. Marcus Silent had already won in that moment. The lounge was so silent that even breathing seemed loud. Marcus sat upright, eyes tracking the captain, the flight crew, and William Harper. Everything seemed frozen, yet phones began to buzz, screens flashing as videos were recorded. Passengers around him discreetly pulled out their devices, capturing every moment. One whispered, "This can't be real." No one recognized Marcus, the person they underestimated, holding ultimate power in his hands. But in a few seconds, everything would change. Jessica Miller, the lead flight attendant, glanced at Marcus, furrowing her brow, pressing the call button to the captain. Phones flashed, voices serious through the line. Marcus barely moved, breathing slowly, focused. Inside, his heartbeat was a storm, but his face remained perfectly calm. 2 steps, 3 steps. Captain James Reynolds appeared, tall, confident eyes, scanning passengers, stopping at Marcus. He looked down, saw no smile, no fear, no submission, only a sharp gaze, brimming with latent authority. So the captain said, voice even but firm, "This is your final opportunity to change seats voluntarily." Marcus closed his eyes for a moment, feeling his own heartbeat. The breathing of passengers around him seemed to halt tension, suffocating the cabin. He opened his eyes, looking straight at the captain, voice steady, yet commanding. "I'm in my assigned seat. No one else is required to move. Unless safety demands it, I will not leave." A deafening silence engulfed the cabin. Cameras zoomed on, passengers' phones flashing, every gaze fixed on Marcus. No one understood that the person they underestimated held the greatest power. William Harper's face reddened. He stepped back, flustered. A faint half-smile appeared on Marcus's face, not from joy, but from absolute composure. Everything unfolded in slow motion, yet tension stretched every detail, vivid glances, hands, breaths, gestures. Jessica Miller hesitated, eyes darting around. She knew the phones were recording. She realized this was no longer a small matter. The cabin was silent, except for rain tapping on the windows and the gentle hum of the plane. Marcus reached for his phone, tapped a few keys. A message was sent to David Grant, his lawyer and legal advisor, emergency. Flight 442. Possible civil rights violation. Stand by for instructions. He inhaled deeply, feeling the weight yet remained calm. This was power. No one outside Marcus could dictate the next move. Cameras panned the cabin. William panicked, crew flustered. Some passengers shrugged in disbelief. Everyone was witnessing a battle they did not understand, but Marcus knew precisely. He had prepared for every scenario. Every step, every decision was calculated, even sitting still in his seat. The captain stepped closer. Voice firm, "Sir, we may have to remove you from the aircraft." Marcus closed his eyes, breathing slowly. Everything seemed to pause. He recalled every lesson from Thomas Bailey, his advisor: stay calm, note every detail, never let emotion take over. Marcus opened his eyes, gaze sharp. "Remove me for sitting in my seat. That is a violation. I have my boarding pass, my diamond status confirmed. I've broken no rules." The crew huddled, consulting the captain. Cameras zoomed on Marcus. His eyes penetrated the fear and confusion in William and Jessica. The truth revealed itself. They judged him by appearance, but had yet to see the true power he held. William gripped the armrest, stepping back. The crew was paralyzed, no one daring to decide. Marcus raised his hand phone in grip, ready to record every moment. He knew this video would be living evidence. Every action now was monitored, recorded, scrutinized online. Suddenly, another passenger stepped forward, voice trembling. "Sir, you're in your seat legally." Marcus nodded slightly, saying nothing further. His gaze was straight, cold, commanding. This was no longer a seat. It was a map of power. No one realized the person deemed least significant now held complete authority. Yet the climax was not over. Jessica Miller, intentionally challenging, discreetly slipped a few notes into her pocket, implying a priority for William Harper. A subtle plot twist. The crew was not only wrong in racial bias, but colluding, creating an opportunity for unfair advantage right before Marcus. Marcus looked at Jessica, eyes slow, reading every thought. He did not get angry. Not yet. Marcus knew true power was maintaining calm in the storm, and this storm had only just begun. The camera panned across the cabin, passengers staring at Marcus William, trembling crew in panic. Phones flashed, #Seat1, Alpha trending. Marcus remained seated back, straight calm, breathing, slow eyes sharp. All of this was merely the opening act for a chain of events that would shake the entire aviation industry. Marcus pulled out his laptop, opened encrypted email sending to his lawyer, activate civil rights emergency protocol. Flight 442. Document every action. Immediate response required. He inhaled deeply. Breath steady, mind clear. Power is not in title or uniform. Power is when others underestimate you, yet you know you hold superior authority. A silent, perfect plot twist, the underestimated, now controls the entire situation. The camera slowly zoomed on Marcus' eyes, cutting through layers of deception and contempt. He knew in a few minutes everything would change. The seemingly small, underestimated figure was now the center of power and truth. Marcus sat upright in seat 1, alpha eyes straight ahead. Breathing even yet, the tension radiated throughout the cabin. The crew clustered at the front phones, flashing continuously. Every passenger was recording video or taking photos. One whispered, "Is he really?" But Marcus did not respond. He knew that everything had now spiraled beyond control. Captain James Reynolds inhaled deeply, leaning close to Marcus. "Sir, if you refuse to comply, we will have to remove you." His voice stern and forceful, each word striking like a hammer against Marcus's chest. Marcus inhaled, feeling each beat of his heart, a steady rhythm guiding him. Remain calm. Observe, win with intellect. He opened his eyes, gaze sharp as a blade. "I am in my assigned seat. Diamond status confirmed. I've broken no rules. Words short, definitive." The cabin seemed frozen. Cameras zoomed in on confused passengers, flustered crew. William Harper flushed with embarrassment. Marcus, the most underestimated person, now held absolute authority. The captain's voice remained firm. "Sir, this is your final warning." Marcus did not flinch, eyes cold. He retrieved his phone quickly, sending a message to David Grant, his lawyer and legal advisor. Flight 442. Potential civil rights violation. Stand by for instructions. Record all actions. Cameras slowly captured every movement. William trembling, Jessica Miller pressing the security call button, passengers discreetly filming. Marcus inhaled, exhaled slowly, reading each gaze and gesture. His latent power became evident not from uniform or first-class seat, but from preparation, calm and superior intellect. At the rear of the cabin, a security officer stepped forward, rigid voice. "Lo, sir, we need you to gather your belongings and come with us." Marcus furrowed his brow, heart rate quickening, yet voice steady. "On what grounds? I've broken no laws." "I am seated in my assigned seat." The two officers exchanged glances, hesitation clear. They had not realized the person they were asking to move was the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar tech company. Marcus scanned the cabin, looking at William at the captain. All eyes were on him, yet power remained with him. A subtle movement. A passenger pulled out a phone to film. Others followed. Every gesture, every glance, every word was captured. Marcus felt each moment becoming living evidence. A perfect plot twist, the underestimated, now the center of power. He rose slowly, moving deliberately, each step measured, yet resolute, facing the security officer directly. "This is discrimination, not a security concern." Short, powerful assertion. The cabin fell silent, only Marcus's heartbeat and phones flashing. The officer approached. Marcus raised his hand, compliant, but gaze sharp as a knife. "I'm complying, but this is unlawful. Record every action you take," a passenger whispered. "This is insane." William stepped back, panicked. Jessica Miller swallowed hard, gestures awkward. Everyone began to realize Marcus was no ordinary passenger. He was controlling the unfolding events. Cameras captured him being escorted from the seat, scraping his lip on the overhead bin. Blood stained his white shirt. Passengers held their breath phones recording continuously. Marcus remained calm. This act did not unsettle him. His true power lay in composure, intellect, and turning injustice into strategic opportunity. Outside the cabin, Marcus was led along the airport aisle. Breathing quickened shoes striking the floor. Passengers watched recording. Marcus's eyes seemed to read each person. He knew this video would spread quickly, generating massive media pressure. In the security lounge, Marcus was seated. An officer handed him paper and pen, beginning a report. Marcus checked his phone, hundreds of messages, thousands of live views. Videos were being shared. #Seat1Alpha, trending across Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. A personal incident instantly became a media storm. He quickly messaged his lawyer, activate civil rights legal response, prepare media strategy. Flight 442. Immediate action required. Marcus inhaled deeply, observing the officers. They were rigid, confused, unaware of what they had just done. He smiled slightly inwardly, knowing they thought they held control. Real power was his. Every gesture, every action recorded. Every mistake would carry consequences. Cameras panned the crowded airport officers, flustered passengers, whispering phones flashing continuously. Marcus stood, firm, calm gaze, sharp heartbeat, steady. A perfect scenario. The most underestimated person, now at the center of power. He sat down, beginning to strategize, calling David Grant collect all video footage. Identify witnesses, notify PR team, prepare for immediate public response. Camera zoomed on Marcus's determined eyes. He catalogued every detail, the captain's glance, Jessica's fake smile, William Harper's panic, every misjudgment by the crew. Everything noted, everything to be used for change. Marcus closed his eyes for a moment, inhaled deeply. Inside, he knew this was not merely a seat. This was the start of a battle for justice, an opportunity to transform the aviation industry, to overturn prejudice, to reveal true power. The underestimated was now the one who controlled the course of events. Cameras slowly captured passengers, crew, security, William Harper. All witnessed, yet none understood what they had seen. Marcus opened his eyes, gaze cold, resolute. They thought they controlled this. They were wrong. A plot twist everyone realized too late. Marcus, once underestimated, held the power. Every action from this point forward would follow his plan. A legal media and systemic reform strategy began at that very moment. Marcus sat in the security waiting area, the chair hard and cold, a trickle of blood still on his lip. His laptop open in front of him, fingers moving quickly. Every detail was being recorded. His heartbeat steady, yet his mind operated like a supercomputer. Every gesture, every glance, every forced smile would become living evidence. His phone buzzed. David Grant, his trusted lawyer, sent a message. Marcus, the video is spreading faster than expected. Hundreds of thousands of views in just minutes. Prepare a media response immediately. Marcus inhaled deeply, picked up his phone and typed back, activate media strategy. Identify witnesses. Prepare public statement emphasizing civil rights violation. Track social media hashtags. Document every angle. The camera zoomed in on Marcus's eyes. The glow from the laptop illuminated his face, highlighting the redness on his lip, yet his eyes remained cold and composed. The narrative slowed, focusing on Marcus's emotions, anger, the crew's disdain, but also determination and clarity. Marcus recalled Thomas Bailey's words, "Record everything. Do not let emotions take over. Power lies in preparation and intellect." He emphasized each point in his mind. Everyone thought they controlled the situation. They were wrong. Marcus knew he held all the power, and every moment would be used strategically. Outside, the crew clustered together, phones flashing. They exchanged glances, bewildered, unable to decide. William Harper flushed, flustered sweat beading his forehead. He had no idea who he was facing. Marcus looked at William with a sharp, silent gaze. Marcus opened his laptop, analyzing data videos from the cabin, showing every gesture, every glance, every misjudgment from the captain, the attendants, and William. Passengers filming the rhythm of the cabin light, filtering through seat 1 Alpha, documenting discriminatory behavior, microaggressions, and the crew's complicity. He hit enter, sending the data to David Grant. Compile all footage. Include passenger testimonials. Prepare civil rights claim. Include cabin crew and systemic discrimination evidence. David replied immediately. Confirmed. Media team ready. Social media strategy activated. Hashtags trending. Seat 1 Alpha discrimination exposed. Marcus closed his eyes for a second, breathing steady, mind clear. He surveyed the cabin like a director. Every object, every light, every gesture was part of a larger picture. This was not just a first-class seat. It was evidence of a discriminatory system, long hidden in the shadows. Outside, social media exploded. Videos spread. A black passenger asked to give up his seat for a white passenger, the crew complying. Marcus was no longer merely a victim. He was the center of change. A perfect plot twist. The most underestimated person was now controlling the narrative. David called Marcus. We have at least 3 witnesses. 2 passengers filming from the cabin, 1 internal employee willing to cooperate. We have everything for a class action. Marcus exhaled. He remembered his father. The humiliation endured. The Times bias weighed heavily on him. Now he would turn that humiliation into strength. He thought of NetSecure, the European partner. The upcoming deal was at risk, but Marcus knew justice and transparency would be strategic advantages. The camera panned the cabin light, filtering through seat 1 Alpha. William Harper sat trembling. The crew looked down. Marcus remained upright, calm. He opened his laptop, drafting a media plan, releasing the video transparently, highlighting the incident and legal standing, pushing hashtags Seat 1 Alpha and Equal Treatment trending, preparing a press release for the airline detailing systemic discrimination, passenger rights and video evidence. He hit send. Passengers exchanged glances, unaware they had just witnessed a CEO directing the entire narrative from first class. One pulled out their phone. This is insane. Marcus sent a message to his assistant. Notify PR, legal and crisis management teams. Prepare media statements. Monitor trending hashtags. He looked out the window, rain still falling heavily. He felt the weight of the moment, but also the opportunity to change the airline industry, to ensure all passengers are treated equally, to dismantle old biases. The camera focused on Marcus's eyes, cold and sharp lips, slightly pressed. Every detail, blood on his lip hands on the laptop, passenger glances, crew confusion, all part of the plan. Marcus knew true power was not in the uniform or first-class seat, but in situational control, preparation, and superior intellect. David called Marcus. The video has gone viral. Over 2 million views in an hour. Media response ready. Marcus inhaled, eyes scanning the cabin. He knew they were misjudging him. They thought they controlled the situation. They were wrong. Marcus, the underestimated, was now the center of power. Every second was strategy. He checked emails from NetSecure, the partner concerned about the deal. Marcus typed, "Brief NetSecure executives." Situation under control. Legal and media strategy activated. Transparency and integrity maintained. The crew stood awkwardly, William Harper trembling. They looked at Marcus, unaware that the person they had dismissed held the real power. Marcus sat straight calm, preparing the next step: legal action, media strategy, and systemic change. The camera panned across the cabin, phones flashing, passengers filming, all eyes on Marcus. He closed his eyes for a second, inhaled deeply, focusing. This was no longer about a first-class seat. This was a battle for fairness, rights, and transparency. A perfect plot twist. The most underestimated person was now the center of power and truth. Marcus opened his laptop, drafting legal documents and a media strategy, preparing the next steps, suing the airline, demanding transparency, and creating ripple effects throughout the industry. He knew the next minutes would determine everything. Marcus stood in the hotel conference room near the airport, yellow light slanting through the windows, reflecting off his laptop, and the documents spread before him. Over 2 million views on social media, #Seat1Alpha, trending everywhere. Everything was now in his hands. David Grant, his longtime lawyer, paced the room, breathing heavily but eyes sharp. "Marcus, we have enough evidence to file a class action suit. Videos, witnesses, audio recordings. They cannot deny it." Marcus nodded, holding his phone, eyes scanning every comment and share. "This is not just Seat1Alpha," he said, slowly, firmly, full of determination. "This is proof of an entire discriminatory system, and we will expose it all." David opened his laptop, projecting slides for Marcus. Passenger witnesses, cabin crew diamond, customer booking data, all pointing to a pattern: black passengers asked to yield seats. Staff complying systems favoring white passengers. A major plot twist: the discrimination was not an isolated act, but a deliberate system. Marcus inhaled, eyes scanning each slide, recalling vivid details. William Harper flushed. The captain, flustered. Jessica Miller, confused, cabin light flickering. All documented as evidence. He was not powerless. True power was in his hands. The camera focused on Marcus, the screen light reflecting on his face, beads of sweat on his forehead. The narrative slowed, emphasizing tension and absolute focus. He thought of the hundreds of passengers who filmed the incident, dozens of witnesses ready to testify. Any move by the airline would face undeniable proof. David turned the next file. "We will issue a press release, highlight discriminatory actions, impact on passenger rights, and emphasize your legal standing." Marcus's fingers flew across the keyboard. Press release drafted. Emphasize systemic discrimination. Public accountability required. Activate all channels. Outside social media erupted. Hundreds of videos, tweets, live streams, and Facebook posts shared the incident of Marcus being asked to yield his seat. Hashtags Seat1Alpha. Equal treatment, civil rights went viral. Public outrage forced the airline to respond. A statement from Southern Skies Airlines appeared. Southern Skies Airlines regrets the inconvenience experienced on Flight 442. We are reviewing the situation. Marcus smiled slightly. That was just the beginning. He knew an apology would not suffice. He needed to expose customer prioritization systems, booking structures, and years of discriminatory practices. David said, "We will file formal legal requests, including all internal airline data. We will prove this is not isolated, but systemic discrimination." Marcus nodded, eyes cold on the laptop screen. "We will make them transparent. Every employee, every policy, every piece of data. Nothing can be hidden anymore." The camera zoomed into Marcus's eyes, then panned to the airplane cabin where it all began. Passenger's crew William Harper, all alive in his memory, every detail vivid. He felt every gaze upon him, yet the power remained in his hands. The next day, Marcus's media team released the video and a detailed report to social media and mainstream outlets. Stories appeared on CNN, NBC, Forbes, Bloomberg. Images of Marcus in Seat 1 Alpha, refusing to yield to William Harper, became a symbol of resistance against discrimination in aviation. Rival airlines grew concerned. Southern Skies, airlines faced pressure stock. Declining customers outraged continuous media coverage. Former CEO Victoria Pierce convened an emergency meeting with leadership. We must act immediately. The public is watching. All evidence recorded. Cannot be denied. Meanwhile, Marcus and David strategized the next steps file, a class action lawsuit, demand transparency of internal data, request independent federal oversight, apply public pressure to reform booking lounge access and passenger rights policies. Marcus reviewed the records. 27 black passengers over the past year had been asked to yield seats. 14 crew members had executed such actions systematically. Every detail documented. Another plot twist. This was not the captain's or attendant's personal act, but a deliberate policy, and Marcus would expose it publicly. The camera focused on Marcus, eyes cold, voice steady yet commanding. They thought they could ignore the law. They thought they could hide behind uniforms. But every action, every glance, every decision has been documented. David asked Marcus, "We need to prepare witnesses." "Who will step forward?" Marcus furrowed his brow, looking up passengers who recorded the incident. "Crew ready to cooperate. We will use them. Not just to sue, but to change the system." The camera panned across the full cabin phones flashing from passengers. Every startled gaze, every clumsy step of William Harper, all captured. Social media exploded hashtags, Seat 1 Alpha and equal treatment spreading globally. Marcus opened an email from NetSecure, the European partner, concerned about flight incident. Is deal at risk? He typed back calmly, situation under control. Legal and media strategy activated. Transparency maintained. Partnership integrity intact. He gazed out the window, rain still falling heavily. He knew true power was not in uniforms or first-class seats, but in the person who remains steadfast when underestimated. Plot twist, everyone realized too late. The most underestimated person was now the center of power. Marcus stepped into the temporary office at the hotel near the airport. Laptop. Open documents spread across the desk. Yellow light from the chandelier slanted through the windows, casting long shadows on the wooden floor. He inhaled deeply, closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them, scanning each line of data. Every note, every internal email, every video clip from the airplane cabin awaited analysis. David Grant stood beside him, holding a tablet, eyes serious. "Marcus, we have the full internal records from Southern Skies, airlines, passenger data crew logs, and booking reports." Marcus nodded. Each number and line on the screen came alive. The passenger comfort profile system, sounding harmless, was in fact a mechanism of systemic discrimination. It flagged white passengers who requested not to be seated next to black passengers, particularly in first class and business cabins. The camera zoomed in on the laptop screen, passenger lists, color-coded data, unique codes marking sensitive profiles. Marcus clicked through every file spreadsheet, eyes sharp. A plot twist revealed itself. William Harper was not an ordinary passenger. He was labeled a high-priority white passenger, and was even a minority shareholder in the airline. Power had protected him, while Marcus, paying legally, had been underestimated. Marcus picked up his phone and messaged David Prepare, class action lawsuit. Include internal memos, passenger profile system, and witness statements. Media ready for coordinated release. David leaned in, looking at Marcus. These memos, they confirm it. This is systematic, not accidental. Marcus inhaled deeply, eyes scanning out the window. Rain fell lightly, reflecting the overhead lights on the floor, like droplets of pressure falling upon Southern Skies Airlines. He clicked to open an email from Thomas Bailey, his longtime advisor. Marcus, one of the cabin crew, wants to come forward. She has documents proving instructions to reseat passengers based on race. A quiet surge of excitement rose. Marcus knew all the evidence was converging, and the moment to expose it was now. The camera slowly zoomed on Marcus, his eyes gleaming with resolve. He closed them briefly, recalling the cabin moment, Jessica Miller's glance at him, William Harper's trembling steps, the flashing lights of passenger phones. Every action was recorded. Every misconduct, every prejudice was in his hands. David said, "Marcus, we can file immediately. Public pressure will force a response. Social media is already trending, Seat 1 Alpha." Marcus nodded, heartbeat slow, mind sharp as lightning. He opened the cabin data dashboard, analyzing each video, the captain instructing Marcus to yield Jessica Miller, emphasizing it for William Harper, black passengers isolated. Every action, every word, every glance time-stamped. The next plot twist unfolded in Marcus's eyes. At least 3 other cabin attendants in Southern Skies Airlines' internal system had been assigned to note undesirable passengers based on race. Documents highlighted ensure premium white passengers are comfortable, reassigned seats as needed for minorities. Marcus clenched his jaw, feeling the weight of the truth. This was deliberate, systematized behavior. Marcus opened his laptop, launching a media application, drafting a press release and transparent video emphasizing that this was not an isolated case, but a systemic issue. He typed quickly, "Immediate release. Highlight systemic discrimination. Emphasize civil rights and passenger rights." At the same time, Thomas Bailey called Marcus the cabin crew. "Whistleblower is ready. She will provide internal documents and testify. This will prove instructions to discriminate based on race." Marcus nodded, stressing each detail. This is the turning point. They think they can hide behind policies and uniforms. But every action has been recorded. Every decision, every glance, every email. It's all evidence. The camera focused closely on Marcus, blood on his lip hands, gliding over the keyboard eyes, sharp breathing steady. The narrative slowed, emphasizing Marcus's emotions, anger, outrage, yet full of determination, calm and control. David continued, "Marcus, with this, regulatory agencies will intervene. We can request independent audits, require disclosure of all internal passenger data, and ensure systemic reform." Marcus stood gazing out the window. A silent moment camera, panning rain falling yellow light, slanting laptop screen, glowing phone blinking. He knew this was no longer just a first-class seat. This was living evidence, a chance to change the airline industry. Marcus inhaled deeply, sending a message to the PR team. Coordinate with legal. Prepare for national media coverage. Highlight civil rights violation. Ensure story reaches all major outlets. Outside social media erupted. Videos spread mainstream media, reported black passengers asked to yield seats for white passengers, crew complied. Marcus was no longer merely a victim. He was the center of change. David smiled. Marcus' public pressure is immense. Airlines cannot ignore this. They will have to act. Marcus closed his eyes, inhaled deeply, feeling latent power. He knew every action from this point would be decisive. Power was not in the first-class seat, not in the crew, not in William Harper. Power was in the person who remains, calm plans strategically, and turns humiliation into strategic strength. Marcus looked at internal data witnesses and videos. One final plot twist: the most underestimated person was now controlling the entire course of events. Marcus stood in the temporary hotel conference room, laptop open yellow light slanting across the documents spread wide on the table. His breathing, steady fingers moving swiftly across the keyboard. Every email, video, and audio clip from the airplane cabin was being analyzed, preparing for the next step, a comprehensive media and legal strike. David Grant, Marcus's lawyer, nodded. "Marcus, we are fully prepared. The press is ready. Social media is exploding. Hundreds of thousands of views in just a few hours." Marcus reviewed every detail in his mind. The cabin seat, 1 Alpha, the captain's glances, William Harper's hesitant steps, Jessica Miller's frown, all captured. Not just vivid images, but legal evidence and media tools. He opened an email from Thomas Bailey, his longtime advisor. "Marcus, we have several cabin crew members ready to testify. They will provide internal documents showing instructions to discriminate against passengers based on race." Marcus nodded. Heartbeat slow, narrative slowing, focusing on emotion, outrage, determination, absolute clarity. This was not just a first-class seat. This was a battle for fairness and transparency across the airline industry. The camera zoomed in as Marcus opened the media management software, preparing the press release detailing Flight 442, emphasizing systemic discrimination, presenting witnesses, video evidence, internal emails calling for public transparency and industry reform. David looked at Marcus. "They cannot deny this. Everything has been documented. Social media is spreading across the United States." Marcus hit send. Instantly, videos and reports were shared on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Hashtags Seat1 Alpha, Equal Treatment, Civil Rights quickly trended. Major news outlets ran headlines. Black CEO asked to yield first class. Seat evidence of systemic discrimination. The scene shifted to Southern Skies Airlines headquarters. CEO Victoria Pierce received the news face pale. Stock prices dropping rapidly, media updates relentless. Senior executives panicked, calling an emergency meeting. "We must respond immediately." The public media social networks, all eyes are on us. Meanwhile, Marcus sat in the hotel room, reviewing data and monitoring live news. He clicked open the internal spreadsheet. 27 black passengers over the past year had been asked to yield seats. 14 crew members had participated systematically. Every action recorded. Marcus quickly messaged David: "Prepare immediate class action. Request full disclosure of internal passenger profile system. Notify regulators. Coordinate media coverage." David nodded. Marcus' public pressure is enormous. They cannot avoid it. Marcus stood, moving to the window. Light rain fell outside, reflecting the overhead lights on the laptop and files. He felt the moment power was not in the first-class seat, not in the crew, not in William Harper. Power lay in the person who stays calm and uses intellect to expose the truth. The scene shifted. David and Marcus contacted witnesses from the cabin crew. One attendant agreed to testify publicly, providing internal emails and instructions to discriminate based on race. Plot twist: the crew's actions were not accidental, but trained and systemized over years. Marcus typed a message: release all evidence to media, emphasize systemic discrimination, highlight civil rights violation. The camera focused on the laptop screen, emails, videos, internal spreadsheets, witnesses all prepared. The narrative quickened, reaching a climax. Social media, spreading mainstream media reporting Southern Skies, stock declining, public outrage. At Southern Skies headquarters, Victoria Pierce panicked. We must issue a statement immediately. They are controlling the narrative, but Marcus had anticipated this. All data, video, and witnesses were already public. The media could not reverse it. Verified evidence in real time. Nothing could be hidden. Marcus watched the screen: tweets, shares, likes, comments rising continuously. Every hashtag exerted pressure on the airline. A subtle plot twist: power is not in uniforms or first-class seats, but in exposing the truth to the public, combining legal strategy and media. David said, Marcus' social media pressure is enormous. Airlines can't ignore this. Regulatory agencies will intervene. Marcus closed his eyes, inhaled deeply, recalling the cabin, Jessica Miller's eyes, William Harper's steps passenger phone, flashes. All vivid, all evidence. He opened his laptop, emailing, NetSecure, the European partner situation under control. Legal and media strategy activated. Transparency and integrity maintained. Camera zoomed in on Marcus' hands, moving quickly, eyes sharp, breathing steady. Every action, every glance, every frown could be leveraged. True power had been revealed. The camera panned across the full cabin, phone lights flashing from passengers. Crew confused, William Harper flushed. Marcus sat upright, calm, controlling the entire narrative from the first-class seat, from details everyone underestimated. He inhaled deeply, closed his eyes, briefly opened them, reviewing internal data, white passenger priority system, compliant staff, reassignment instructions all exposed. He messaged David, prepare for immediate filing, demand independent audit, full disclosure, and systemic reform. Public support already mobilized. The camera panned across the hotel room, laptop files, phone flashing social media notifications. Marcus sat straight, breathing evenly, eyes cold and sharp. The campaign to change the airline industry had begun. The power of the most underestimated person was now at the center. Marcus sat in the temporary conference room, yellow light slanting through the windows, illuminating his laptop and the spread of documents across the table. Outside rain fell heavily over Atlanta, each droplet on the glass, reflecting the tense rhythm of pressure cascading across the airline industry. David Grant stood beside him, serious. Marcus, today is decisive. We will present the case to the Federal Aviation Administration. Every detail must be flawless. Videos, witnesses, internal data. Everything will be submitted. Marcus inhaled deeply, hands on the laptop, eyes scanning every line of data. Passenger lists, emails, instructing crew to discriminate against black passengers, videos recorded by other passengers. A plot twist emerged in his mind. William Harper, a white passenger and minority shareholder, had been prioritized and protected by the system. Marcus smiled lightly, reminding himself that true power did not reside in a first-class seat or crew uniforms. The camera zoomed in on Marcus's face, eyes cold, every feature highlighted by the laptop glow. Vivid memories flashed, the captain ordering him to yield Jessica Miller, emphasizing it for William Harper, passengers discreetly recording. Everything had been captured ready as evidence. Outside, the first witness appeared cabin attendant Laura Simmons, who had previously noted black passengers to receipt for white passengers. She stepped forward, hands trembling, but Marcus met her gaze with reassurance. A plot twist the crew itself would testify to expose the entire system. In the FAA hearing room, cold light reflecting off the dark wooden table, Marcus stood at the podium, eyes straight, breathing steady. The board members watched, curious and skeptical. Marcus opened his laptop, displaying videos him refusing to yield the captain attendants and William Harper. Cameras captured every expression. William flushed, the captain flustered, Jessica Miller trembling. Officials took notes, their eyes shifting from doubt to understanding. David emphasized members of the board. This is not an isolated incident. We have internal data emails, crew instructions, all showing a system prioritizing white passengers in first and business class. Verified, transparent, and indisputable evidence. Marcus continued, voice steady and sharp. They thought they could hide behind uniforms and internal procedures. Every action, every decision, every frown has been recorded. This discriminatory system has existed for years, and now we will expose it completely. The camera panned the hearing room official's eyes, the light reflecting on the table every heartbeat, every expression of passengers present. An official asked, "Mr. Marcus, do you have direct witness testimony?" Marcus smiled lightly. Calm, yes. A cabin attendant will testify along with passengers who recorded video and all internal airline emails. Laura Simmons stepped forward, hands shaking, voice quivering but firm. "I documented and received instructions to discriminate against passengers. I am ready to testify and provide internal emails." Another plot twist the crew. Once instruments of the system were now witnesses, exposing it entirely. Marcus met her gaze reassuringly. He knew true power lay in turning former unwitting accomplices into allies for justice. David continued, "We request the FAA audit the entire passenger comfort profile system, demand transparency, independent reporting, and reform of high-class seating procedures." Marcus raised his hand, eyes sharp. Every passenger deserves respect, regardless of race. This is not just a first-class seat. This is about human rights and transparency in aviation. The camera panned across the room. Marcus, Laura, the board, and passengers. Cold light, the space tense, almost suffocating. Marcus inhaled deeply, the narrative slowing, emphasizing the weight and rising power. An official frowned. "Do you have evidence of the internal system?" Marcus opened the slide data tables, passenger codes, emails, instructing crew videos. Everything alive, indisputable. The narrative quickened. Officials leafed through papers, reviewed video clips, took notes, whispered among themselves. David said, "We propose independent oversight, full disclosure of airline policies, staff training, and reform of booking systems. This is a necessary measure to ensure fairness." Marcus looked at the board, voice firm. "We are not seeking personal punishment. We demand systemic change so that no one suffers such injustice again." The camera zoomed in on Marcus, eyes sharp, facial muscles tense, breathing steady. Every passenger and witness in the room felt the authority radiating from him. Plot twist, the most underestimated person, was now determining the course of reform across the industry. The crew quietly observed Marcus, realizing true power lay not in uniforms or temporary authority, but in knowledge, evidence, and strategic preparation. Marcus hit enter, sending synchronized emails to the FAA media outlets and NetSecure. Clear instructions, release evidence, request independent oversight, recommend industry-wide reform. Outside, the media waited. Cameras panned the hearing room. Every word Marcus spoke was recorded and live-streamed. Hashtags Seat1Alpha and equal treatment trended nationwide. The public reacted with outrage but also support. An official asked, "Mr. Marcus, will this affect international partnership agreements?" Marcus, calm but firm, replied, "On the contrary, transparency and fairness strengthen partner confidence." "We are protecting the interests of all parties involved." Marcus walked out of the hearing room with steady steps, laptop and legal files in hand. Rain still fell over Atlanta International, droplets sparkling under the airport lights, reflecting the tense rhythm of pressure spreading across the airline industry. Reporters lined the doors, cameras and phones trained on him. Marcus said nothing, only nodded slightly. They had witnessed his resolve, and everyone knew the power radiated from him. Back at the hotel, Marcus opened an email from David Grant. Marcus, the airline, just issued an internal statement. Stock down 14%, media backlash severe. They are scrambling to control the damage. Marcus stared at the screen. He had anticipated this scene. Every number chart news article was proof of the influence one individual can exert when steadfast. The narrative slowed, highlighting details, yellow light falling across the desk, redness on Marcus's lip from contact with the overhead bin, his calm hand moving the mouse. David continued, "Marcus, we must maintain strategic momentum. Next steps: release all evidence, publicly demand disclosure of the passenger comfort profile system, deploy independent oversight, and begin reform." Marcus nodded slowly, opening the internal files, Excel sheets, internal emails, cabin videos, all alive on the screen. His eyes scanned the captain, Jessica Miller, William Harper, every action, every glance, every decision recorded. A plot twist emerged. Power does not lie in uniforms or first-class seats, but in evidence and strategy. Marcus's media team went to work. The press release was issued detailing Flight 442. Marcus holding Seat 1, Alpha, providing proof of systemic discrimination within the airline, calling for transparency and reform, sharing videos and internal emails. Social media exploded. Hashtags Seat1Alpha and equal treatment trended nationwide. News outlets, television programs, podcasts, technology, and civil rights blogs reported the story. Southern Skies, airlines, stock plummeted. The PR director panicked, calling an emergency meeting. Former CEO Victoria Pierce led "We must act immediately. The public will not tolerate any further concealment. Evidence has spread everywhere. Immediate reform is required." Marcus monitored every move, fingers moving quickly across the keyboard. The narrative quickened, tension rising. He contacted NetSecure, all legal and PR actions underway. Transparency and compliance being enforced, partnership integrity intact. In the cabin of his memory, Marcus recalled William Harper's trembling eyes, the flustered captain, Jessica Miller in distress. All captured now, legal and media tools. He felt power radiating from the moment he had been underestimated, a perfect plot twist. The airline began implementing reforms, independent oversight of the entire passenger comfort profile system, retraining all crew and ground staff on fairness and passenger rights, establishing public feedback mechanisms, and revising booking policies to prioritize legitimate needs without racial bias. Marcus viewed live data. Over 20,000 reports logged in the FlightWatch app showed the discriminatory pattern being corrected. Numerous witnesses from the cabin and ground provided evidence to regulators. The camera focused on Marcus, eyes sharp, hands on the keyboard, breathing steady. The narrative slowed, highlighting emotion. He sensed every crew action, every passenger glance, every frown from William Harper. All vivid evidence of change. International media reported Southern Skies Airlines implementing reforms, competitors under pressure to adopt passenger fairness programs and improve premium services. Another plot twist: Marcus from the seat, once underestimated, became the catalyst changing the entire airline industry. Marcus received a call from Thomas Bailey. Marcus, the crew are cooperating. Some are ready to testify publicly, providing all old directive documents. We can prove the system operated in a discriminatory manner. Marcus pressed the laptop's send button, messaging all relevant parties. Prepare official filing with regulatory agencies. Public statement scheduled. Evidence compiled: videos, emails, witness statements. The camera panned across the cabin. In his memory passenger phone, flashes flustered Captain William Harper, blushing, trembling crew. Marcus remained upright in seat. 1 Alpha, breathing steady, latent power, clear. The most underestimated person was now the center of industry-wide change. Southern Skies Airlines stock continued to fall. Media coverage was relentless. Hashtag Seat 1 Alpha trending. Millions watched. Social media created undeniable pressure. A perfect plot twist from personal injustice, Marcus transformed it into a campaign to change the entire industry. He looked at the laptop, hit enter, typing rapidly. Coordinate with PR, legal, and social media. All evidence public. Demand systemic reform and independent oversight. He closed his eyes for a moment, inhaled deeply. Breathing even heartbeat, slow, mind clear. True power did not lie in a first-class seat or crew uniform, but in standing firm, observing, and transforming humiliation into strategic strength. 6 months after the seat, 1 Alpha incident, Marcus stood at gate Charlie 12 of Atlanta, international early morning light slanting through the glass. The Southern Skies flight was preparing to depart, gentle music from the terminal speakers filling the air. The terminal was still crowded, but the tension from before was gone. Passengers walked confidently, no longer fearing discrimination. Marcus moved calmly, holding his boarding pass. On his phone screen, FlightWatch data displayed no incidents of premium seat discrimination recorded in the past 2 months. Staff from cabin crew to gate agents now wore dignity first, pins a symbol of cultural change within the airline. The camera panned from Marcus to staff and passengers. Everyone moved with calm confidence, free of suspicion or hesitation. Marcus approached the boarding podium, voice steady, full of determination. Good morning. Boarding for Diamond Status passengers begins. Please enjoy the new protocols ensuring equity and dignity for all travelers. Jessica Miller, now lead trainer for anti-discrimination, stood beside him, bowing respectfully, smiling genuinely. 6 months ago, she had trembled seeing Marcus in Seat 1 Alpha. Now she was an ally in the airline-wide reform. A perfect plot twist. Those who had doubted and once been instruments of the system had become witnesses and allies for change. Marcus boarded the plane. Seat 1 Alpha awaited. The leather pristine sunlight slanting through the window. No more scrutinizing eyes or prejudice. He inhaled deeply, heartbeat slowing, noting every detail: clean cabin, diverse crew, respectful passenger interactions. A young black passenger, a few rows away, turned. Excuse me, sir, I just want to say thank you. Last year, I was asked to move from my upgraded seat 3 times. Not once now. You've changed things. Marcus smiled, eyes reflecting pride, yet humility. That's why this fight mattered. Not just for me, but for everyone deserving dignity. The camera zoomed on Marcus, capturing the light from the window on his hand, resting on the armrest. The narrative slowed, focusing on satisfaction, pride, but never arrogance. Marcus knew his efforts were a long-term campaign, not revenge or personal proof. On his personal screen, updates on the Washington Protocol replacing passenger comfort profiles appeared premium seats, allocated based on legitimate needs, regardless of race. Crew trained, monitored, and evaluated regularly. Transparent passenger feedback mechanisms. Marcus opened his laptop, reviewing internal reports. FlightWatch data, over 20,000 reports, logged all confirming compliance with the Washington Protocol. Diverse cabin fare crew interactions. Every number, every chart was proof of systemic change. The camera panned across the cabin, passengers of all races, ages, and genders moving with confidence. Crew interacting politely and professionally. No scrutinizing glances, no unjust seat reassignments. Marcus inhaled, narrative slowing, witnessing the results of his efforts from the plot twist that transformed Seat 1 Alpha into the launch point for industry-wide reform. A call from NetSecure Marcus board approved full partnership. Your leadership during the incident was pivotal. The European expansion strategy is back on track. Marcus nodded calmly. We acted with integrity and transparency. That's what built trust. The camera zoomed on Marcus, eyes sharp yet resolute. He surveyed the passengers, noting smiles and respectful glances. He knew the change would extend beyond southern skies. Other airlines began adopting Washington Protocol standards. A long-term plot twist, his influence extended beyond himself, spreading across the industry. A young black female passenger approached Dr. Ellis, "Thanks to your stand. My team no longer fears flying in business. It's different now. Equal." Marcus smiled slightly, bowing his head. That's why it was never just about me. His gaze swept the cabin, every passenger, every crew member, every detail testified to the change. Returning to his seat, Marcus opened FlightWatch. Reports of discrimination had dropped 100% over the past 2 months. Passenger system, transparent responses, swift. Crew following fair procedures. Cabin and airport now transformed. He closed his eyes briefly, inhaled deeply, heartbeat steady. The camera panned from Marcus to happy passengers, professional crew, and live data displays. A perfect cinematic moment, individual effort transformed into systemic change. A final plot twist Marcus once underestimated, once pulled from first class, was now the center of airline reform. He looked out the window as light rain fell over Atlanta, knowing this journey extended beyond one airline, one seat, one lawsuit. It was proof of the power of resolve, justice, and strategic action. The plane began accelerating on the runway. Marcus sat upright in Seat 1 Alpha. All eyes on him, but he needed no proof. Results were visible. Passengers respected crew, acting fairly, airline implementing transparent policies. A FlightWatch notification appeared. 0 incidents reported across all flights for the past 60 days. Washington Protocol fully operational. Marcus smiled lightly. Narrative slowed. Cinematic details highlighted sunlight through the window. Leather seats, passenger smiles, crew hands, live data displays. A subtle plot twist Marcus once underestimated now shaped the standards of fairness and transparency across the airline industry, creating a lasting legacy for passengers and staff alike. The camera pulled back to show the full cabin, Marcus, passengers, crew, and the sky beyond the windows. Marcus inhaled deeply, breathing, steady eyes, sharp yet resolute. A drop of rain fell on the window, reflecting the golden light. The story concluded with a cinematic message: a person who stands firm against injustice, calm, strategic, can change an entire system, leaving a legacy of fairness for the next generation. Seat 1. Alpha was no longer just a seat, but a symbol of power, justice, and transformation. From the perspective of an expert in organizational behavior and leadership, the story of Marcus Ellis demonstrates a timeless truth. Real power does not come solely from a title or a first-class seat, but from the ability to maintain dignity, recognize injustice, and take strategic action to change the system. He not only defended his own rights, but also transformed a humiliating experience into an opportunity to reform the entire airline industry, creating the Washington Protocol, a standard of transparency and fairness for millions of passengers. This is living proof that sometimes one individual with the courage to stand firm and challenge prejudice can make an entire industry reconsider itself. If Marcus's story inspires you, hit like to spread the message of power, fairness, and courage. Subscribe so you won't miss the next stories full of strength and meaning. And before you go, comment the phrase "stand firm" as a reminder that sometimes just one person standing up can change the world for the better.